Yeah, but that's a nice little chat, right? Whoa. Hey, let's respond one. Okay, now today you're gonna, yeah, you can create this too. Right, funny? Okay, now let's get started, alright? You all downloaded the project and installed Node.js? Right, done? Now let's start. Let's switch back. Maybe open it. Game one. Okay, now in the beginning, there is only a simple index HTML. So let's set up the page first. So what do we have? We have a input control on the top, which we use to type in our message, and then we have a list down there to show the message we send or receive. Okay, or if you want to create this, make it look beautiful with Bootstrap, you can also apply Bootstrap library to your project to make it a little bit more attractive. But here I'm just simply creating a div and put a input on it. Type is text. Let's give it an ID called the message field. Okay. If you like, you can type with me. And then down here, there's another section. We'll put a list here. Let's give another ID called the message list. And close it. So here we will put the message we send or receive here. Save it. Okay. Now we look at the page now. Simply a simple text input. Nothing below because we don't have any message yet. Okay. Now let's create a JavaScript to actually connect to our WebSocket server or send and receive a message. Oops. We're calling this main.js. Create a new file. Now we input a script tag on the head, and then we create this main.js file to do the actual WebSocket connection and sending, receiving. Okay. And the first thing I want to do is to get this input and this list. Okay. So I'm gonna say field document get element by ID. Oh my god, that's a really long name. Hey. If you have jQuery, you could just write it in a really simple $sign. That's really convenient. And we're going to get the list element or message list. We're going to use them later. Maybe I'll put them in a function called main. And then when the document finishes loading it, it would run this main function. So we add an event listener called a DOM content loaded. So this event will be fired when the document finishes loading and call this main function. Okay. Can I move on? Alright, if you want to know more detail about Node.js, you can go to their website. There's plenty of documents. You could do crazy stuff with Node.js. You could set up server, you could also like WebSocket, you could access file system, not like the file system I talk in day 2 is the real file system on your server. You can access any file you like with Node.js. It's really a powerful tool to create server. And of course, it also allows you to create all these with JavaScript. So actually there is an architecture we are using today. We use JavaScript for the front end. We use JavaScript with Node.js to write the server side, and we use the JavaScript with a tool called the MongoDB to create a database. So from the front end to the server to the database, everything is JavaScript. You don't need actually any other language, and the performance is quite okay. Of course, no comparison to something like C++, okay? But it's something you need to balance the efficiency to write codes, or you want a crazy performance. Okay. Now, let's. What?
That's the question. Is there a compiler, Node.js compiler?
Node.js compiler, no. Actually, it is a V8 engine running on the server to run your JavaScript code. Okay, now let's create the actual function to connect to our WebSocket server. Okay, so we're going to call it a function connect. Oops. New WebSocket here. Yeah, we're going to specify where our socket server is. So again, the schema is called ws.http. We already set up our server on localhost. What's the port number again? Oh, I forgot the port number. Yes, the phone number is 8910. Really easy to remember, right? 8910. Okay. Now we're going to connect our client to this WebSocket server and listen to the open event when the connection is established. On open. But maybe we set an alert to say that. Great. We are connected. And when the socket is closed, we also want to tell the user, oh my, I'm closed. Not happy. And when the socket receives a message from our server side, we're going to do that later. Okay. And of course, after all this, we are going to run this actual connect function. A little bit too fast, or can slow down, or you guys can follow me with this, right? A little bit slower. Okay. Yeah. So again, when you want to connect to a WebSocket server, you simply need to new a WebSocket instance. Tell the browser where you want to connect here. For example, our server is set up in localhost in port 8910. And then we usually listen to 3 events: the open, close, and message. But open and close is actually not so useful. Usually do some telling the user you're online, you're connected, or your WebSocket connection is lost, something like that. The really useful one is this one message. Whenever a server has something pushed down to your client, you will this function will be triggered, and then you will access the data in OpenFlows, the event. Now you want to access the data. You will say event data. The data pushed from the server is stored in this event data here. But in this case, in our demo, this would be a text message. Okay, shall I move on? Okay. Right. Now let's see whether we actually connect to our server. Let me check. Is our server running? Okay. Is that still running good? Yes. Great. We are connected. Oh yeah, we're online. I'm so afraid that this would fail. Okay. Now, next, of course, we want to have some way to tell other part of our code whether we are online or not. So we are going to create a variable called the connected. When I open, we want to set it to true. When close, we will set it back to false. This is useful, for example, to control the disability of the message input field. So usually, of course, you only allow users to type in message when you are actually connected to the server. If you're not, then you type in message you send, actually nothing would happen, right? This is just a variable to indicate whether you are online or not. So let's do the actual send message part, okay? I'm going to write another function called send, and then the message quantum as the first parameter. Oh, yes, sorry. Actually, we need a reference to the socket. So we create a variable called the socket to remove it, to replace this one. Remember, we moved the var in here so that this socket is actually the same as this one. Okay. Now here, I'm going to say if I want to send some message, socket, send, content. Really easy, right? Really very easy to use API, so that you don't need to understand. Oh, how do I put together a binary message frame to send to the WebSocket server? Oh, I'm close. Sorry, the server kicked me out. Now, indicate that this onClose event is actually calling, right? Is actually working. Now, also we want to listen to the fields event. What we want to do is that when we type in a message, say hello, and then hit enter, our code will get this event and then send the content of this control to our server, right? Now what we do is that we add a event listener, to the field. The field is this one, okay? And then we listen to the key down event. So whenever a user is pressing a key, when this control gets focused, this event will trigger. And we want to check which key did the user actually press on, so that we can see that is it an enter? If it is an enter, then we are definitely want to send that content to the server. Okay. So here's how we check if key code. The event key code will indicate that which key you are pressing now. Enter, the enter has a key code is 13. Yes, 13. Then also we want to check the content of field. Value. Value would be the text value here, and we want to check that there is actually there actually is some content in the field. I'm not pressing enter on the empty text input control. Okay. So when this happens, we want to send the content of the field to our WebSocket server, and also not content, wrong, so value. Okay. And then we set that value to an empty string so that you can see that when if I hit the enter, the message will disappear in the text control. It looks like that it really flies to the server. Okay, now let's see. Oh, maybe we'll wait a second for you. So as you learn more and more JavaScript, there's actually a lot of these events, but the most useful one is something like click event. You can actually see, listen when the user is clicking your element, key down, key up, or mouse over. Yeah. But on the mobile device, it's a little bit different because on the mobile device you don't actually have a mouse, right? You are listening the touch event. But they're basically the same, except that on the mobile phone you would have multiple touch, usually on the multiple touch screen. So maybe you would get a multiple touch event at the same time to process.
So you have to write both versions?
Yes. If you are writing to targeting both desktop and mobile, then you need to maybe check you are on the mobile phone or you are on the desktop, and then you listen to the mouse event or the touch event.
With JavaScript you can check?
Yes, you can check. Usually you can check the something called user agent here. It's called navigator user agent. Now this string will tell JavaScript what browser, what operating system, what version you are running on. So usually we use this to check our environment. Alright, now let's move on. We already created a function to connect to our WebSocket server, a function to send message, and then listen to the key down event on our input control. But let's see how it actually works now. Oops, not this Gangnam style. This one. It's clear console. Okay, we are connected. And let's try and say hello. Hit enter. Oh, yeah, everything was perfectly. And our server said, hey, I received a data frame. Type this text. It said hello. Okay, now everything works so far. Do you have any problem setting up this WebSocket server? No? Okay, good. Now we can connect to our WebSocket server. We can send message to it. What else? Oh yes, we need to receive message from it, right? So a little bit work here on the onMessage. I'm going to actually create a third function. When I receive a message, I will create a list item element, insert it to our message list here. Okay? I'm going to call this function add show new message with a text content. And what I'm going to do is that we are going to create a new element with this function called a document create element. It's called a list item, LI. Okay, and we are going to set the inner text. Inner text will be the text to display within this element. Will be actually content. And then because we already know the list element here, we already get it on top of the main function. So we simply call list append child element. Okay then, oops. Hotjar? No, it's a free version. The server kicked me again. Oh yes, because the WebSocket is based on HTTP. This is one thing to remember. There is possibly a timeout. Even your server holds the connection for maybe you are going through some proxy server on the middle, they will close your connection if, for example, you're idle for 1 minute or 2 minutes or something. So the thing we do that is that we will keep sending something called a heartbeat message. It's a really small data package. It's like a ping pong. And then, for example, every 30 seconds, and then we'll send a heartbeat to tell the server, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here. So to just keep the WebSocket connection alive. Okay, now move back to this on message. So here is where we are going to receive the message from other member in the chat room. Okay, so when we receive some message, we will call show new message, and then pass the data as the content to show. Okay, now let's see some magic. Where's our console? Here. I'm going to invite a friend. Open another tab. Visit the same site. Okay, now this guy is connected here. Also, this guy is connected. Now I'm going to say hello. Oh my! The other end said, I got your message. It's a hello. And here, there is our message that we received. Okay, good. Say hello back. Or maybe say, just say hi. Smile. Yeah, the other end also received it. And also, you could invite some new friends. For example, 2 guys too lonely, right? Maybe 3. Again, this new guy just here. What's up? Oh, this one received. This one also received. Okay, now everybody is happy. Right? Easy. Few lines of code, then you have this powerful chat room. Now let's take a look back what we have done. We created a connect function to connect our WebSocket server. We listen to open, close, message, the 3 event of WebSocket. Then we create a function called a send, which is simply sending message to our server, and a message called show new message. So will be invoked when message is received. And we listen to the key tag event on our text control so that we know when the user is hitting enter, and we will take the message from that text control and then send it to our WebSocket server. Nice, 45 lines of code, and a bunch of them are empty lines. We have created the mighty chat room. Yeah, this is the final product. Uh-oh, it's closed. No. Let's see Gangnam Style again. Where are we? Oh, started. Yeah, this is the real cool stuff. You could, oh, but these guys are not here. Oh, close to. Now you can add more styles. For example, you can see that the this one is actually a text control. I'm just adding some CSS to make it look a little bit better. And the message here below. I also added some CSS to put them on the left, on the right. If the message is sent by me, I'm going to apply another class to the list item to put the message on the right to make it look a little great. And the message I receive, I'll put it on the left and make it look black. And this could all be done by CSS or Olympic code. Okay, and of course, Gangnam Style. Oh yeah, I love that part. Yeah. Okay, now this full demo is actually based on the example I showed you just now. Few lines of code. You could create everything you like. You could make it look beautiful. You could send something, for example, audio, yeah, something like that. Use your imagination. So really, technology is not the limit. It's here, right? Okay, 5 minutes more. Oh, yeah. Any questions about the demo? Actually, if you feel like making something based on it, you're welcome to modify the code, do more stuff, anything you like. Okay. Any questions?
Can you show me again the index of HTML?
Oh, I thought you want to see more Gangnam Style. Index HTML, yeah? Yeah, simple lines of code. You have a div here, which we put maybe it's a little bit hard to see. Yeah, we put a text control here to typing our text, and then we have another list here to list our message. Any more questions?
Can you show an example of how you see how many people are in the connectors?
Oh, that's for example, we need to keep a counter on our server. So whenever a new connection is coming, I will add 1, and then when the connection is lost or closed, we will -1. And for example, we already have 10 connections connecting to the server. You are new here to connect it to the server. So upon your connect, the server will push a message to tell you there is other 10 guys on this chat room. This is how we implement it. Any more questions? Yeah.
How to maintain a list of currently connected, right?
Oh, you could take a look at the server.js, I believe is here. See, we have a socket away here, which is empty at the beginning, and then I believe is here, yes. When we receive a upgrade connection, which is a client HTTP request with a upgrade header, and then we will finish the handshake here. We will respond to the client, and then we will here we will have a socket reference, and then we push it to our sockets. And when the socket is closed, I believe where is it? Yes, this remove socket reference from after closed is invoked here on the closed event. So when the socket is closed or timed out or lost connection, we will remove that reference so that we won't send message to a socket that doesn't exist anymore. Right? Any more questions?
So also through this way, also can do person to person instead of broadcasting.
Broadcasting, yes, this is exactly what I do in here. This function called broadcast to all sockets. For example, I'm sending a message to the server. The server will then broadcast all these message to the socket I previously pushed to these sockets away. Okay.